Alrighty, guys. So, welcome back to PRs and Purpose, the podcast where we talk about chasing progress with purpose, both inside and outside of the gym. We're your hosts, Rickey and Kimberly from CrossFit SolaFide. And every week, we're here to help real conversations about training, mindset, faith and family, and the habits that help everyday people show up to be better in their lives. So, whether you're here for your next personal record or you're searching for a deeper why behind the work, you're in the right place. So let's get ready for today's episode.
Right.
We've got some exciting things coming up in 2026. We've got two things happening relatively quickly. So
Yeah, right off the bat.
first part of January, we've got our Bring a Friend Week, which will look a little bit different for this first time here in January, and then our 800-gram challenge. Both of these are for all of our listeners. You don't have to be a member at our gym to take part in what we have coming up. So we're super excited to share what that is. And then just kind of, show people who we are and help them kickstart their journey to, better health and improving their quality of life. So let's go ahead and kind of start to kind of dive into Um, really today talking about removing fear, confusion, and pressure around starting either CrossFit or nutrition coaching. We offer both. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what those common fears or objections that we hear, what those are, and then how us as coaches and owners, how we kind of help people navigate through those to build confidence and build autonomy in their decision making to where, these barriers that, come up whenever we're starting something new are not so scary. But yeah, so I guess for the first one, we'll talk about, the one that we often hear a lot is I'm not fit enough for CrossFit, right? We get that from people who, they really want to try it, but that's their first kind of barrier is like, I'm not fit enough to do that. So kind of just starting off talking about common misconceptions about CrossFit, um, and then kind of why us as coaches, why we believe scaling is super important, and then how our role as coaches is to be able to meet people exactly where they're at and kind of bring them into the fold of what we do in our day-to-day classes. So let's start with kind of common misconceptions about CrossFit.
Yeah, the one you hit off with is like, I got to be in better shape before I start. Most people they don't think CrossFit is like an entry level type of fitness program. When in reality, all it is a general physical program, like preparation style program. It's just what mainstream is high intensity, like interval training and intensity hit the market. It went like a big boom. You got functional fitnesses, you got all these other things. So for most people, they see what's on mainstream, and typically the things they post on social media, just like influencers post things, it's like the higher intensity, I'm doing hard things kind of thing. And for the average person looking to get fit, they don't really have a um, understanding of what CrossFit is, because CrossFit is owned by individuals, and those individuals tell a different story, and it's like it's not the same story they're hearing across the board. So I think that's just a misconception. Like, CrossFit will meet you exactly where you're at, whether that's right off the couch, whether that's been a part of sports your entire life, that's coming back from injury, that's fighting chronic diseases, like fighting decrepitude. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at. CrossFit can approach you and meet you exactly where you're at and where you want to go. So I think that's a big misconception. Um, what other
I think,
misconceptions do
well,
you
I
think?
think like where it says like CrossFit isn't exclusive, it's inclusive and it's inclusive by design. Like that's how it is designed and how we coach and how we, bring new people in no matter what your background is. Our role as a coach is to be able to scale all of the movements in the workout. So no matter what you see written on the board, whether it's a whiteboard or we use screens. So whatever's posted up on the screen, that's not like you do this or you don't, right? It's like this is the prescription for the day. This is what we're prescribing you in terms of your fitness. But just like everything else, there's doses, there's modifications, and there's ways that we can take that prescription and tailor it to you specifically. Like, you don't go to your doctor's office and they don't check your weight, they don't check your height, they don't check all of those things for no reason. They check it so whenever you do have to get medications, you're given the correct dose. And that's what we do on the fitness side. Like, you come in, this is the top end dose for the day, this is that prescribed workout, but it's like, hey, I haven't mastered this certain skill yet, or hey, I don't have the strength, to lift that weight yet. It's like, okay, yet, cool. We can modify those things no matter what it is. So you can get the same workout as someone who is probably at that level.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We don't change the workouts. You're not going to be doing something completely different. It's not going to stand out. Most people don't even notice because our goal is to do that really, really well to where everyone in the class, it could be doing something different, but it doesn't look like it because we've been able to modify specifically but keep the intended stimulus of the workout in mind. So we don't have someone who's, finished and then they're waiting 10 minutes for someone else to finish. Cause that is another big thing where it's like, I don't want people to watch me or I don't want people to wait. I don't want to be the last one. And it's like, if we do our job right and you do your job right and listening to our, like our modifications,
Yeah.
we're doing that so we can ensure that everyone finishes around the same time. And if we asked everyone, like, hey, how did this workout feel? We get that same feeling from everyone, no matter how they had to either scale back the weight or they had to modify the skill, whatever it was, everyone left feeling the same stimulus or the same response to that prescribed workout.
Yeah, they definitely do. Just even in today's workout, you might have someone changing up the lunge for a box step up as we work on, single leg strength and things like that for full range of motion of that. But at the end of the day, I can ask them while we're foam rolling and stretching around at the end of class. I'm like, what's the hardest part? And they're like, legs, 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 legs. You know what I mean? So it's like, regardless of their modification, they have that same stimulus. And it's like, hey, how did your heart rate feel? It's like, oh, heart rate was this. And then it matches this person, even though this person did a slightly different variation based on the skill or a slightly different number of calories on the machine based on where they're at in fitness. But they left here giving each other a high five and be like, I'm good. I did my dose from where I'm at that day for today. It fits in my week. And I just keep coming back and adding those days up day after day after day. And before you know it, you're going to look back and be like, I remember when I was doing box step ups and now I'm doing lunges. And I remember when I was doing 10 calories and now I'm doing 15 calories in the same time domain. It's just those single milestones that a lot of people like don't consider a win for the day or progress towards it. So yeah, stimulus is huge. When you say scaling though, I think a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? We can modify the workout. In most modifications, we take whatever the skill is or the movement is for the day, and then if we're not there yet and we're still working on it because it's new for us, then there's a progression underneath that or even above that we can go to help you get to the actual movement for the day.
All right.
And
And
those, yeah,
yeah, I think a big thing is when people hear the word scale, they ultimately tie it to less than. But we scale up as well. We
absolutely.
scale the workout to match the individual. Like
Yeah,
that's what scale means. Scale
yeah,
doesn't mean I'm doing less because it can mean I'm doing more,
it
but
can.
it's like it's a scale. So
Yeah.
we have to judge it or we have to base that movement on the individual um and kind of take that macro view and not just like hear the word and immediately make it something negative because it's not negative. It's scaling is a term that we use as coaches um to let us know that this, again, prescribed workout needs to be adjusted. And we can say adjustment. It's just, it's a longer word.
Yeah,
We'll say, we
yeah,
like scale.
yeah.
But again, that's CrossFit's own kind of wording that people just get used to. But taking away that negative feeling that most people hear when it's like, hey, I'm going to scale this for you. It's like by scale, I mean, I'm going to tailor it to make sure that you get the feeling that that this workout is intended to make you feel.
Yeah.
So sometimes that means I'm going to scale you up. Sometimes that means I got to scale down. But either way, we're looking at a scale and it doesn't mean less or more. Um,
It's just like given direction.
right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think the next one and we touched on it a little bit, was judgment, comparison, things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
People are scared that because we do group fitness and we're in a group together, that it's like, hey, I'm new. I don't know what a lot of these movements are. I don't want people to judge me. Or on the other end of that, they come in and they're like, they come in and see things that they're not at yet because they just started and they're like, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't. And they just start kind of beating themselves up about it. Um, but what they soon experience is that there's no judgment or comparison here. The only person I'm comparing myself to is myself 6 months ago, because there's things that that I'm doing now or that I'm not able to do now that I will be able to do as long as I'm consistent 6 months from now. And I want to compare that because I want to see progress. I want to see progression in the hard work that I'm putting in. But outside of that, like, we're not competing with each other. We're not comparing, how fast I do something compared to someone else, and we're definitely not judging. Like, once it's 3, 2, 1, go, like, everybody's in the, like, heads down. They're counting their reps, they're doing their movements, they're making sure, that they're moving efficiently, their heart rate's up, like, they're in the zone. So it's like, I don't think I've ever seen someone in the middle of a workout, they're just kind of standing around and looking at what everyone else is doing. Like, everyone's heads down,
Everyone says down.
music is up, and we're getting after it, right? So um, we're not like in a circle and like watching everybody go at one at a time, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so I think that fear of being watched or judged, it's just, again, a misconception that they don't know because they haven't allowed themselves to experience what a class looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That class is more of a learning environment for the first like 15 to 20 minutes of most classes, right? Where we're going to warm you up, we're going to demonstrate the movement. Um, it's kind of wild to see like some people that have been in the fitness space for a while and they start to dabble into CrossFit and they come in and after a week, I'm like, how's it been going? But I was like, I didn't realize I was doing these things like differently. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that you're supposed to squat this way. Mechanics. It's like we're we're in a learning environment, but also we want you to leave here with a great workout. And with that, there's a lot of times that you'll get a group of people learning a new skill. And when they're learning it together, it just makes it easier. And like you said, the comparison thing, it's really just a comparison with yourself. Like I can't say it any better than you did. Um, People will always throw out the phrase, well, comparison is a thief of joy. It really is. But on the other side of that, in our classes, you can kind of see that there's like this competitive nature, but it's because we see the other side. We see that comparison is not the thief of joy if it shows inspiration or motivates you, right? And those like competitive type of environments where you're looking over, like when I'm working out next to you, I'm like, what round you get or how many rounds you get? And I'm talking to you and I'm just like, okay, cool, I got it. Like, or I'm in the middle of a workout and I'm like, when I'm done with it and we didn't work out in the same class, I'm like, Kim's gonna beat me in this workout. You know what I mean? It's just like those little things that like I push a little bit harder knowing that like she's gonna see my score before I see hers or vice
Which is why
versa.
I stopped putting in my sport. Right?
So then I'm like, dang it. So it's just that little edge that it's like, well, if he can do it, I can do it too. If she can do it, I can do it too, type thing. You know what I mean? And that little bit of like competitiveness is something you can't replace when you're just doing it by yourself in in whatever other fitness program you're in, or even in your garage or your home. Like you're just not going to get that like little extra drive that you didn't even know you needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not even spoken about. No, like, there's not a whole lot of conversations about like, what'd you get, blah, 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 or any kind of comparison of that nature. It's just kind of like in your head, like you're pushing a little bit harder because you're in a group setting and a lot of people are putting in the same work.
Yeah,
You know?
you see other people like, yeah,
Yeah.
putting their head down and like they're huffing and puffing and they're giving it their all. Like you're naturally gonna want to do that for yourself too.
Yeah.
Which yeah, you touched on when I'm by myself working out in the garage or I'm doing a workout by myself, there's no one to look around to kind of motivate me to be like, hey, yes, this is hard. Yes, we still got 12 minutes left, but we can all kind of keep going.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. Um Kind of opening that up segue a little bit to our Bring a Friend Week, right? And
Mm,
why this is kind of the perfect opportunity for people who have never experienced, a CrossFit class before, um, to come to a Bring a Friend Week. So I'll let you well, let's talk about what our Bring a Friend Week is, who it's for, and then all of the kind of like benefits that we've seen people gain from attending an event like this.
Yeah, so bring a friend weeks here for us is we typically do them once a quarter, and it allows all of our members to kind of bring their friends and family to come try out a whole week's worth of workouts, not just that one workout, but a whole week, and just see if like we can incorporate fitness in a week. Our goal is to get people in here at least 3 times out throughout the week, give them a day of rest in between workouts and stuff like that. And it's just really to expose them and kind of shift people's focus from like the mainstream stuff that you see on social media to the actual thing that happens inside the gyms. Right. You see a lot of the influencers and stuff like that. We're just trying to gravitate towards that. It's no different than someone telling you that, like, hey, that place is not good to eat, that place, whatever. And then you try it for yourself and it's like, it's actually pretty good. It's just like those random things that happen. So our job in the Bring a Friend Weeks is just to kind of like, let's like completely lower the barriers for everybody. It's like, hey, we're going to have some great workouts. You're going to get coached. It's going to be a really good environment, and you get to come with one of your friends or family, right? And you're going to do this around, people that you already kind of know. You have a familiar face in the gym, and it just kind of gives that inviting setting, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like what the whole thing is for. It's just like, let's expose you to CrossFit, multiple different workouts in a week with zero cost, no obligation, no credit card on file, like legitimately risk free, right? And then let's let you um make the determination of like how do you see CrossFit, after that. Like, if you're going to compare CrossFit before you walk in and after you walk in, then you'll get to have that experience and that exposure to where you can talk on CrossFit because you have personal experience. That's what it's for.
Yeah. And it's not just for our members, friends, and family. If you don't know anyone who currently comes to our gym, gather your own little group of friends and family members that you're like, hey, let's all do this together. And you guys all show up too. Show up to
Absolutely.
the same class. Again, it makes it easier when you and when you know someone to step through that door with you, whether it's someone who already comes here or if they don't, it's like, hey, I'm going to grab my friend. We've been talking about wanting to, find a fitness routine or do something different or try out CrossFit. It's like, hey, grab that friend and y'all come together. Like you don't have to know anyone at our gym to come to Bring a Friend Week. Um, you can come by yourself, right? If you're like, I'm going to take advantage of these free 2 weeks, or it's like, hey, I'm going to get, a friend or two to come with me and we'll all experience it together. Again,
Yeah.
it's just, having that support group and especially that inner circle that you do life with on occasion or not occasion on more than, um, one occasion, then that support from them and the ability to be able to connect with them on something like-minded, like fitness, is super important in order for you to make this something that is sustainable that you're going to do for the rest of your life, right? If you're constantly battling that support group, whether it's family or friends, that they're not on the same page with you in terms of like, what your fitness goals are and what you want your lifestyle to look like, it's going to be hard. So finding, inviting other friends and inviting family that it's like, hey, if you just try this out, like I know you're gonna like it. And then we can possibly do this thing together. And your likelihood of succeeding and building sustainable habits in that it has just increased dramatically because you have someone um that you can connect with from the very beginning, right? So yeah, so in January, typically when we do these, we do a week.
One
But
week.
in
Yeah.
January, we're doing kind of like a kickstart where we want people to not only come in and experience what CrossFit classes are, but start to develop some sort of routine in that. So we're extending it to 2 weeks in January. So that'll be January 5th through the 17th,
Yep.
where they get 2 weeks to experience it. And hey, if you miss that first week, that's fine. Come in for the second week. Like you don't have to start on the 5th and give us the entire 2 weeks. Like we're just opening it up. We're opening our doors for free for 2 weeks for you to come and experience what all of us in here already kind of know to be true
To
and
be
to
true.
be,
Yep.
yeah. It changed all of our lives. So
Yeah.
we're here to afford that opportunity to everyone else in Clarksville.
Yeah, we understand like how the new year brings on the new year, new me vibes and stuff like that. And we just wanted to look at the calendar and see like how can we help people kickstart, give them a place to do the thing, teach them some things. So like share knowledge. And it's the first full week of the year that starts on the 5th, right? Because the other parts of the beginning of the year kind of start in the midweek. And most people are going to be like, oh, I'll start on Monday, so it's like, okay, cool. We'll make it on Monday. So we'll eliminate that for you. So first full week, and it's actually the first 2 full weeks of the year, to really help you kind of establish that routine and keep that, goal that you have in mind. Um, I know that like James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits. A lot of people in our mentorship group and people that we, look up to in the space, has a lot of like one-liners in those books. And one of them is like, you don't rise to your goals, you fall by the way of your systems. And it's like the systems and processes, aka habits, right? And your time priority and things like that. So if you haven't read that book and you're looking at like sticking to some of your goals or reaching your goals and things like that, it's like look at your habits and how they're formed. And 2 weeks will definitely give you the opportunity to kind of like see what traffic looks like and travel and work and the new year and what stressors that stuff brings. And it's like you're going to realize that getting yourself and putting yourself on the calendar for 1 hour, a day, at least 3 to 5 days a week, that it's going to like blossom into the other parts of your life.
Yeah, for sure. I think moving so one kind of nutrition objection that I hear a lot is that like I've tried so many other diets and they've all failed, right? Um, which there is a difference between dieting and habit-based coaching, which is what we focus on, right?
Hmm.
Habit-based coaching is something that is supposed to seamlessly and simply kind of fold into what your current routines look like. So it's not a huge drastic shift that you now, not like if you have, um, family or friends around you, it's not a huge change, not only to you, but to them, because again, support system is very important. And if you're doing something that is just a full 180 for what you were doing before, typically doesn't end very well. It doesn't last very long either. So, kind of habit base is like we want to look at the entire kind of um, framework of your life, right? So, yes, that's nutrition. Yes, it's sleep. It's support system. And it's your daily movement, exercise, things like that, and then what your current routines look like. So all of those things, we take into account whenever it's like, hey, these are my goals. This is what I want to achieve. And we look at all of those things and start coming up with a plan from there. So it's personalized. It's not like, hey, this worked for my friend, so I'm going to do it. That's typically how diets are. Like, hey, my friend lost this much weight or my friend gained this much muscle doing these two things. Like, I'm going to do it too. That's usually those cookie cutter approaches aren't going to work for most people. And they're also very drastic in most cases to where they're not sustainable.
Right.
Um,
So when we offer the Bring a Friend Week, that's like the 1 hour a day fitness for you, right? For the other 23 hours of the day, we're also going to help kickstart that new year with a challenge, right? And we're going to call it, because it's part of the 3 pillars method, 800-gram challenge. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah. So the 800-gram challenge is a 4-week challenge. It was designed by a certified CrossFit level 4, who's also a licensed nutritionist. Her name is E.C. Sinkowski. She's been in the game for a very long time in multiple kind of avenues in CrossFit seminar staff. She's, like I mentioned, a licensed nutritionist. So she's been working with clients, thousands of clients for a long period of time. She's done her own research, and she's developed this program, which the first part of that program is the 800-gram challenge. So what that really is we are measuring in weight and trying to get to 800 grams of fruits and vegetables. With that, there's a list of like what counts and what doesn't count. So in addition to that, we also count beans, avocados, legumes, things like in that nature, olives. So it kind of opens up the scope for some people who are like, I don't eat a ton of vegetables.
Vegetables.
Yeah. So
Me.
there's things on that list that it's like, hey, that's cool. We can work on that. But we can also include all these other things that improve quality. That is the ultimate goal of the 800-gram challenge, is just to start and look at the quality of the foods that you're eating without restriction and without elimination. So that part is super, super important. We're going to add rather than take away, because usually if that's the route that we go with clients, it's easily more attainable and it's sustainable as well. because they don't feel like they are restricting anything or that they can't enjoy going out with friends or family or even some like times like this, the holidays, right? If they have a long list of things that they can no longer eat, that's miserable.
Yeah.
So we don't want to remove anything from what they're doing. We're just going to start incorporating and adding more quality through fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So that's what that is. With that program, again, this is open up to anybody who wants to join, not just our members. And we'll give you guys that information to sign up for both Bring a Friend Week and the 800-gram challenge at the end of this podcast. But with the 800-gram challenge, you're going to get daily education from EC. You're going to get some meal of the day or some meal ideas. She'll be in there for any kind of Q&A. So if you have any specific questions, you'll be able to log. There's an app, web-based app in there. So be able to log, your 800-gram tally throughout the 4 weeks. And then there's a leaderboard. We like to make it fun, right? So there's a leaderboard. There are opportunities to win some prizes at the end of this.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to make things fun again in order. It goes with fitness too. Like if it's something that it feels like a second job or feels like a burden, it's just, again, it's not gonna be sustainable.
Yeah.
So they have to be enjoying what they're eating, how they're moving, all of those things, just like we want to enjoy every other aspect of our life. If we want this to be part of our lifestyle too, like it has to be enjoyable. So we make it fun
Yeah.
with a little bit of a leaderboard so we can kind of track and see again that natural competitive nature that
Yep.
comes out.
Who's
Yeah,
who's
I see
doing
my
it?
friend who's been like consistently getting like 500 to 600 grams. I'm like, dang it, I got to step it up a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but
Okay.
yeah,
So that's interesting. So for me, someone that's, before CrossFit has tried, some of the diets and the fad diets and all the things, and whether it's intermittent fasting and counting calories and all that stuff. Two things that come to mind quickly, and I know this is not true because I've done the challenge before, and it's like changed my, my mindset around food and how, yeah. But two things I get. Um, if someone wants to come in and lose weight, but you're telling me I'm gonna add food, like, what would you say to someone like that? It's like, "Well, I can't eat that much. I'm trying to lose weight."
yeah.
Like, what would you say to someone
So
like
the
that?
good thing about improving quality, right, is once you incorporate more quality food in the form of fruits, vegetables, beans, things like that, is it includes the minerals and vitamins that are essential to our health and essential to our bodies, but it also includes fiber. And fiber helps us stay fuller longer. So if we're focusing on incorporating those foods into our daily diet, then naturally we're going to feel full. Naturally, when we go to eat the other foods that, again, are all free game, we're less likely to overconsume those because we feel satisfied at that point because we've gotten the quality in our system. And then the body just works in amazing ways where it starts to actually change your palate. So your taste buds regenerate every like 14 days. So if I'm focusing on increasing my quality of foods and I'm eating more of those, natural fruits and vegetables and things like that, when I go to have that ultra processed food, whatever it might be, my taste buds are like, this doesn't taste as good as it used to, because your body's adjusting back to what good fuel is, and what it actually craves, right? So as long as you're consistent, you won't have to worry about temptation and cravings, and you won't have to worry about restriction and things like that. You don't have to because your body will naturally do it as long as you consistently keep up and incorporating, those
Okay,
those fruits and vegetables.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So I like that because I mean, it plays true because you said fuel too. Like, and I like to think of things from like the performance side of things sometimes. So I'm like, fuel, like I need, that's better workouts, better energy, more alertness during the day,
Yeah,
like
this
things like that.
program
Yeah.
isn't just for people who are looking to lose weight.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
a
Great.
performance-based program as well. So for someone who wants to improve their efficiency in their movements, then yeah, energy, like that comes from
Huge.
the foods that we eat. And if we're bogging down our energy system, which is our body, with, foods that aren't providing the quality vitamins and minerals that our body needs to function, then it's like putting bad gas in your car. Like, is your car going to go down the road? Yeah, but is it going to kind of like chug its way along? Absolutely.
I got
It's
you.
not going to be as efficient as someone who's got clean gas and clean fuel in their tank, and they can go longer. Their ride is smoother. Um, and they just don't get all of that
Uh,
build up, right? If you want to think of it like that, like that's always a
yeah.
good way that I talk to my clients about it is like, yeah, I can get I can get around with not so great gas, but it's the good gas that I want because I want my body to be running like a well-oiled machine.
Got you.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, the second part, right? Most people are like, they want to lose weight. They want to clean up the things they know. Like some people don't think that the simple things actually move the needle because they don't stick
Yeah.
with it long enough. But so this seems pretty simple. A common thing that I used to run into, being around a bunch of guys is like, I want to go out and hang out with them and be in a social setting, but I don't want to bring a scale and weigh my food. Like, I don't want to weigh 800 grams. Like, what would you say to someone that's like, I don't want to be the guy that pulls the carrots out of his pocket and eats while everyone else is having a good time. You know what I mean? Like, so I get to you're saying that I don't have to cut out that stuff. But it's like, what would you do in that scenario? Like, how would I get my 800 grams if I'm out and about, or if I don't have the scale in the kitchen, like readily available,
Yeah, so we'll touch on the scale first. So,
Okay.
having a scale is not necessary. I like having a scale, and you can buy them for as cheap as $6 or $7 on Amazon. I like to do it for about like 2 weeks just to kind of see the foods that I frequently eat, how much is about, in my portions, right? How much am I getting? How much does 100 grams actually look like in the typical foods that I'm going to eat? Once you do that for, 1 to 2 weeks, then you kind of can eyeball it from there. You can also use the hand portions. So, or you can use a cup version if that helps you better. If you don't have a scale, you don't want to buy a scale, that's fine. But 800 grams equals about 6 cups of whatever fruits and
Okay.
vegetables. So you can go the cup route, 6 cups there, or you can go a fist. A fist usually makes about a cup. So if I'm at a restaurant or wherever I'm at, like, yes, I'm not going to bust out my scale or a measuring cup. I'm going to look at my fist and the plate that they bring out. If it fits about the size of my fist, cool. Then
100
I'm
grams.
gonna stay there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it's something that again we have to make this super simple, guys, for us to be able to do this anywhere and everywhere without having to worry about bringing extra equipment or stuffing carrots in our pockets or things like that. And then to your other point where it's like, hey, I don't want to be the guy who brings his bag of baby carrots to a function, right? I don't think
Uh,
anyone really wants to be that
right.
guy. Um, but I look at that in terms of like a bank account, like, and I always take it back to that. I know what's in my bank account, right? So I know what I can spend and what's out of my budget, what I can't spend.
Do
And
you? No,
yes, I
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
and I know that if I overspend, there's consequences, right? Overdraft fees, all of those things, right? So I treat my body like a bank account. So if I know, and this is where planning comes into play a lot, if I know that I have a function this weekend, or if I know that I'm going out, every Friday night we go out to dinner, right? First thing I'm going to do is like, hey, are there options there that give me fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, things like that, right? If the answer is yes, cool. Um, then when I go there, I'm going to, my sides are going to be predominantly fruits, vegetables, something that counts towards that 800 grams. And then I'm good to go, right? If it doesn't, say it's like a fast food or it's just a favorite place that we go that they don't offer a lot of fruits and vegetables, then I know throughout my day I need to make better choices in order to get to that target, right?
Mm.
So I'm not just going to throw in the towel and be like, well, every Friday we go out to eat here. They don't have fruits and vegetables, so Friday's a wash, right? No, I don't want that mindset. I want to be like, hey, I want to do as much as I can and plan as much as I can leading up to said event, to where when I go and I have the pizza or I have the, chicken strips or whatever it might be, I don't have to sit with guilt of like, oh my gosh, I didn't get a single vegetable today. Like that's one meal. You had plenty of opportunity to get your vegetables in throughout the day. You just chose to kind of give up that day and throw it in as a wash. And at that point, that's on you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, taking that control and taking that responsibility. Yes, these are super simple habits, but that doesn't mean they're easy. Because we're on autopilot to do the things that haven't been in alignment with our goals, and we have to switch those, and it takes work.
Yeah, for
And it
sure.
takes some hard decisions.
Yeah, it sounds like the more simple things are, the more consistent you can stay with things, and consistency beats intensity, especially on the fitness side and in nutrition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing that we kind of hear a little bit is about like, I know the new year is going to bring stress based on like everyone's going to come back from the holidays and feel like they don't have time because they're going to get back in routines. Kids are going to go back to school. Job's going to have new goals and new things and all this stuff. And it's like, well, I'm not going to have time to go to the gym, or I'm not going to have time to plan out my meals, to get these things. So, the whole "I don't have time," is something that, like, goes back to, like, the quote that I did earlier. It's like, it's you fail because of the processes and your time prioritization. You don't fail because of anything else, really, you know what I mean? It's like, you gotta put that your goals, your processes and your habits have to be aligned with your goals, not just that 1 hour in the gym. You know what I mean? What would you say to someone that, says that, like, they're too busy, um, they're just too busy to go to the gym?
Oof. I don't know if they're gonna like this, but it is a reality check that you have to have with yourself, right? You've set forth this goal or you've set forth this like this lifestyle change that you want for yourself, right? And I don't always like using goals because that always feels like there's an end
Mhm.
date to it.
I agree with that.
Um, so if there's a lifestyle change that you want to have because what you've been doing so far is not getting you to live the life that you want. So there has to be a lifestyle change there. Um, and with that, yes, you can set little targets and little goals to help you get to that end or to get to that lifestyle that you feel great, you look great, like right. Um, but I think the reality check comes in where and we usually tell people like, "Hey, if you say you don't have time, it's like, I want you to look on your phone." Apple has this really great feature where you look at your screen time. It pulls up your screen time and it shows you exactly how long you spend on apps in your phone, whether they're messages. It goes through all of your apps, all of your frequently used apps. And most people are spending more than 2 hours scrolling on social media. Most people are spending, around 35 to an hour and a half in messages, whether that's part of their job or not. Like most times it's not because people have other phones for their work phone. Um, so I challenge people when they have that. It's like, one, is this something that is high on your priority list? Because it has to be. If you're like, oh, no, I mean, it'd be great if I could. Then to me, I'm like, you're not ready. You're not showing me the
Mm,
signs that you're ready to make the changes that are necessary to get you to where you want to be. And that's fine. That length of time that it takes someone to want something and then actually take action on it is different. But again, that's another reality check that I'm like, hey, it sounds to me that you're not ready. And they're either like, yeah, you're right. I don't, or they're like, oh, what do you mean? And I'm
yeah,
like, oh, well, I mean,
yeah,
you have
let's
to be
talk about
honest
it.
with yourself. If you're telling me you're ready, then I'm willing to go through this with you and find that hour, let's say hour and a half, because people are going to say, well, the drive time,
I was about to
hour
talk
and a
about
half.
that
Yeah,
next,
hour and a
yep.
half, right? We'll go hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
As soon as you step through the doors, like we talked about in our last podcast, we're going to give you everything you need, mobility, strength, conditioning, all of those in the hour. We have that. All you do is walk through the door. You don't have to, you can turn your brain off, right? We do everything for you at that point, other than the actual workout.
Yeah,
We don't do
I'm
that.
not doing any
And I'm
reps.
not going to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I already did
I
my
do my
workout for
own
the day,
reps.
yeah.
Yeah. But, so yeah, so it's just getting to the gym, right? And that drive time. But most people, and I say most people because the clients that I've had and the members that we have are busy parents, right? They
Yeah,
have they have busy lifestyles.
professionals.
They're professionals with varying different schedules. We have, nurses on night shift. We have ER nurses, right? High stress jobs. We have people who work, 4 days on, 3 days off, and it rotates. Like any kind of schedule, any kind of like busyness you bring to us is not going to be different.
Uh,
You're not special in
no,
that. Like
everyone has the same 24
everyone has
hours.
the same 24 hours. It's just how are you utilizing that versus someone who's figured it out. And that's okay
Absolutely.
if you haven't figured it out. Again, that's what we're here for.
We can
It's
help.
like if you have these barriers that are like, hey, I'm struggling to get in and to find consistency, cool, let us know. If you don't have that communication with us, then we don't know and we can't help you. And that's why we're here. That's why you signed up for a membership to be like, I need help building consistency. I need help getting to where I want to be because I've either tried it on my own or I've never done this before.
Mm,
Either way, it's like you have resources in your coaches who have the knowledge and the tools to help navigate through these barriers, but you stay quiet and you don't show up and it's just like you're not utilizing your membership or the program to its capacity.
yeah.
So it's like these are things that it's like utilize.
Yeah,
Let us know
that's
when you're
absolutely
struggling, when you're having a hard time. There's absolutely no judgment in that. Like we're not gonna sit here and like school you on like, oh, you could be doing better. Like I no, I'm just gonna help you move forward and help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Like, there's no shame or judgment. Like, I don't carry that and I don't distribute that. That's not my job. Um,
Yeah. That's a good point to make too when you just said that, like, when you summed it all up on everything that we're gonna handle for you as you walk in the door. That's what a membership looks like.
yeah,
Everything else that you can kind of go out and do is it's a it's a part of a fitness plan. It's not a complete fitness plan, and those are gym access.
yeah. You're
And
not
I
gonna
know
get that otherwise.
subscriptions. It's a subscription,
Yeah.
right? And when you think about a CrossFit gym, all the things you just talked about, we're going to talk about nutrition, metabolic conditioning, aka the cardio piece for most people, right? We're going to talk about weightlifting. We're going to talk about sport. We're going to talk about all of these things, sleep, stress, all of that stuff. And we're going to help hold you accountable and provide you the support that you may not get. Because the majority of the time, people spend their time with the same 5 people. If those same 5 people that you spend time with, whether it's immediate friends or close family members or something like that, like if they're not doing what you know, the things that are going to get you your like goal or your result, then more than likely you're just going to fall back into those habits. You know what I mean? So you need to be around people that like have started to figure that out and are figuring that out together. Like
Mhm.
they're on the journey together. So when we talk about nutrition coaching and all those other aspects, like um I hear a lot of people like, well, you know, well, Friday's a wash, like you talked about earlier, or I started the week Monday, Tuesday, I'm done. Might as well start next week. Like,
Yeah.
and they have this like perfect or nothing mindset.
Yeah.
You know, do you want to touch on that a little bit right now, or
Yeah,
move into?
it's yeah, I'll briefly touch on it. It's considered the all or nothing mindset
Oh, there you go.
where
Yeah.
they're waiting for the perfect scenario to either start, which is never going to happen,
No.
or they're waiting for the days to line up perfectly and to happen perfectly. Otherwise, it's like this isn't going to work. It's like also not realistic, not going to happen because that's just not life for anybody. So we always aim for progress over perfection, meaning if you're every single day, if you're giving it whatever you've got for that day, then that's better than not doing it at all. And we all know that. Those little steps, like it's much harder when you look at that ladder. It's much harder to climb a ladder if you have to skip 4 or 5 steps. Most people fall off because they can't make that big of a jump. But if you're consistently climbing one stair at a time, you're going to get there. It's going to take you a little bit longer, but you're going to get there eventually and you won't have those opportunities to miss or to fall off. So that all or nothing mindset, usually people just they quit because
Okay.
it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself to try to be perfect. Nobody's perfect in
Nobody.
any capacity, like whether it's fitness, nutrition, like experts aren't perfect. Like it doesn't matter. So expecting your days to be perfect and expecting your year to line up perfectly to then be able to be like, now's the perfect time to start my fitness routine or work on my diet. It's like, there is no perfect time. The perfect time is whenever you decide that now is the time.
Now's
That
the
is
time.
it, because you
Yeah.
have to make that decision and you have to be willing to put in the work, like we discussed.
Yeah.
But when we talk about, um, being stewards of our health, I had posted a couple days ago, or maybe it was last week, a post from Dr. Josh Axe. And it was just kind of a letter post and it had reminders. And it said, one of the reminders was, you can't pray away anxiety if your habits are building it. The second reminder was, you can't heal fatigue if your diet keeps creating it. And then the third one was, you can't ask for peace while overstimulating your nervous system nonstop. And then he finished with, God gives us spiritual tools, but he also gave us a body and we're called to steward both.
Hmm.
Meaning God created us, right? I have one body, I have one shot at this. So you know, he created me, one, to have a relationship with him, two, to spread the gospel to anybody and everybody who's willing to hear, and then three, to be a good steward of the gifts that he's given me, which includes my body. So I need to treat that as such and treat my body and run my business and be a mom and be a coach and all of the hats that I wear to glorify God. I can't just pick and choose which one I want to do because those are the easier ones, but I don't want to focus on my health and my fitness because that one's a little bit too hard. So I'm going to let that one go. It's like, no, we were called to steward it all, which means what you eat, how you eat, and how you treat your body in terms of like movement and nourishment and things like that. That's included too. So that was something that it got a lot of comments, which was surprising. I didn't think it would.
Yeah.
All positive, where people were like, wow, I needed to hear this. I
Yeah.
needed to read something like this because, yeah, I haven't been treating my body like, you know, like God created it. I've been treating it like it's my own, and it's not. Nothing in this world is our own. So that to me was something that kind of stuck with me. And I was like, it was just that gentle reminder to like, what I'm doing is not extreme. It's not, I'm not like obsessed with health and fitness. Like, I'm just stewarding the gift that God gave me. And in return, I'm blessed with good health markers. I'm blessed with the ability to functionally move freely and independently. I'm blessed to have the strength that where whatever life throws at me outside of, the four walls of the gym and outside of a workout, I feel prepared for. And those are all, again, additional gifts that I've been given: confidence, strength, mobility, all of those things because of how I've steward my body. Um, so I
Mm.
think that was something that was very, I'm, again, the comments that I got, it was great to hear,
Yeah, that's a very
from
concise
people.
message.
Yeah, I loved it. I
You
loved
know,
it. I
it's
saved
like
it.
there's no fluff in that. It's just like,
Yeah. For some people, they
you
were like,
know?
dang, that hurt. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay. So
It can be
that's a
eye opening.
it can
Yeah.
be, it's like you think about all the things you do, but yeah, it's a very concise message. It's quick. I would like to like get into like why fitness and nutrition work together, but you always know that those things work together. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you put a little bit of effort in the other 23 hours of your day, cleaning up your diet and your nutrition and starting with that challenge is going to be huge because it's just adding quality. Then you get into the gym 3 to 5 days a week consistently. You do those two things and like it'll influence the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, we can jump into like I guess really like just to make sure reiterate who these challenges and stuff are for.
Yeah. So again, just to kind of talk about the upcoming events, Bring a Friend Week starts January 5th and it
Yep.
goes all the way through the 17th.
Yep.
We will have a link on our Instagram bio. If you follow us on Instagram, CrossFit SolaFide, you'll see the posts and they'll have the links attached to all of those posts. I'll put them in the comments so it's just easier.
Cool.
And then you sign up, you fill out a waiver, and we take it from there. You'll get a phone call from us. You'll
Yeah.
get a
Probably
video
get a
from
video
us.
from
Yeah, you'll
me.
get a video from Ricky. So you'll have a face to a name. You'll know who you're coming in to meet. Again, we try to take all of the guesswork out. We try to eliminate any kind of barrier that you have. Um, and just make this a fun experience for you to start this,
Yeah.
to start 2026 off really, with the intention that, you're ready to make that change. Um, and then the 800-gram challenge, that link won't go live until January 1st. But as soon as January 1st comes up, you'll be able to, again, find that link on our social media. If you are in the gym, we'll have a QR code. You can send that QR code to or that link to friends and family. They can also
Local, not
sign up.
local, everything.
Local, not no
Yeah.
local. Yeah, the 800-gram challenge can be done from anywhere. You don't even have to be in Clarksville. You can do it from anywhere. But that challenge starts January 5th as
As
well,
well.
and it goes through February 3rd. So again, 4 weeks long. Um, if you are not local, we are having an in-person meeting on the 3rd to go over all the logistics of the challenge. But I will try to have that recorded. So I'll make the recording available to those who can't make it or they're not in the local area. But you'll be able to watch that video to kind of, again, help answer some of those questions. But
Cool.
both of those will be available soon. The Bring a Friend Week is coming. That link will start to pop up within this
Yeah.
week. We'll have that link ready. And then the 800-gram challenge, wait until January 1st for that link to come up. But
Perfect.
yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. If this conversation helped you, challenged you, or encouraged you in any way, we'd love it if you shared this episode with someone who you think may need to hear it. And if you haven't already, make sure to follow the podcast and leave us a quick review. It helps more everyday athletes find the show. And then, as always, if you have any questions or topics or comments, that you want us to cover in future episodes, you can send us an email at info@crossfitsolify.com, and we will take some time out to look at those and create our 20-minute AMRAP episode where we try to answer as many or we try to respond to as many questions as possible in 20 minutes. But yeah, so thanks for being part of the SolaFide family. We hope that you keep chasing progress, stay grounded in purpose, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Will do. See you.
Bye.